Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we will talk about two things. First of all, we will discuss that how to find, how to investigate the elements of subfields of any finite fields with the help of primitive elements. Very easily, very quickly, we can describe the elements of subfields of any finite field by using the primitive elements and some techniques from the cyclic groups. We can easily investigate all the elements of the subfields. We know a lot of information. In fact, we know complete information, complete description about the subfield in the previous lecture. But in the start of this lecture, we will study an example, and in this example, we will learn how to find the elements of all the subfields by using primitive elements of the field. And this is very easy technique, is very helpful. So after this we will talk about the square roots of elements in finite fields. And yeah, and not only for square root but also for cube roots, fifth roots, and for pth roots of elements in finite fields for all the prime p. So these are the main goals of this lecture. So now let us move to our tasks. So first of all, we start with this example. In this example, our our goal is to describe the elements in each subfield of let's say we choose the field F729, and we will describe all the elements of its subfields with the help of primitive elements. You will realize how helpful the primitive elements are. So, and first of all, we see the 729 can be written as 3 power 6, and 6 has 4 divisors, so it has 4 subfields from the previous theorem that we learned in the previous lecture. 729 can be written as 3 power 6, and we know that each subfield of F729 will be has order 3 power m, where m will be divisor of 6. So 6 has 1, 2, 3, and 6 divisors, so its subfields will be F3, 3 power 1, 3 power 2, 3 power 3, and 3 power 6. So we have these 4 subfields of this field. And now actually our task here is to determine the elements of these subfields. So we proceed as follows. We know that 729 F729 must have some primitive element. Let X be its primitive element. Then we can write F729 equals to 0 union the cyclic group generated by X. We exclude 0, we separate the 0 from this cyclic part. This is a cyclic group part of this finite field, and we separate it from 0. So this part, this highlighted part, is a cyclic group, and X is its generator, and X power 728 is 1. X has order equals to 728. We separate the 0 here. So what is the order of X? What is the order of primitive element? The order of primitive element is 728. So now we want to write the elements of F27. So we write as we separate the 0 union. It must be a cyclic group because this is a subfield of F729, and its non-zero part will be a subgroup of the non-zero part of F729 star. So we have this part, and this part will be a cyclic group. It must have some generator, and it's we first we will check what should be the order of this part. So total order is 27. 0 is separate. So this this group must have order 26. So that means we have to generate a subgroup of order 26. So what is the procedure? We will generate this group by taking x power order of x divided by 26. This is a general mechanism in cyclic group, that whenever we have some cyclic group generated by x, and if we generate another group by x power, let's say n over some divisor d, it has d elements. For each divisor, we can generate this cyclic subgroup. So what is the technique here? We want to write the elements of F27. We separate 0, and the remaining group should have order 26. So we need an element of order 26. So x has ordered 728. We divide 728 by 26. So this element will have order 26. So we generate this element by this group by this element. So 728 over 26 is equals to 28. So the elements will be 0 here, x power 28, 56, 84. We taking the powers, we will get x power 700, and after this we will get x power 728, that will be equals to 1. The 26th power of this generator will be equals to 1, and this is the 25th power of the generator. So in this way we can write the elements. Again, see, we want to write the elements of F9. F9 has total 9 elements. We separate the 0. The remaining part should have order 8. So we want to generate a cyclic group of order 8. Therefore, the generator of this group must have order 8. So what should be the generator? The generator will be x power order of x divided by 8. So this element will have order 8. So it will generate a cyclic group of order 8. Because in a cyclic group, generator order of generator equals to the order of the group. So here, if x has order 8, so it will generate a group of order 8. So if we divide 728 by 8, we get 91, and we taking powers of 91, and after seventh power we will, this is the seventh power of 91, and eighth power will become 728, that will be 1. Similarly, here F3 has total 3 elements. We separate 0 here, and the remaining part will be a cyclic group of order 2. We must take an element of order 2. How to get the element of order 2? We take x power order of x divided by 2. This will be an element of order 2. We know very well that if x has order n and d is the divisor of n, then x power n over d has order d. Again, see, if x has order n and d is some divisor of n, then x power n over d must have order d. So that this is the main technique we use here. So in this way we write all the elements. So you can see here directly that F9 and F27 has no containment in each other. X power 91 is here, is not here. X power 28 here is not here. So these fields has no relation. This will be contained in everyone. So this is the subfield lattice of the subfields of F729. We know this with the help of divisor. 1 divides everything, 2 divides 6, 3 divides 6, 2 does not divide 3, 3 does not divides 2. So there is no containment relation, and we can realize it with the help of elements also that it is true. So this is our first part of this lecture, that how to write the elements of subfields by using the primitive elements. And if you can if you have more time, you should practice this procedure by taking other example. It's a good exercise that takes some many other fields and write their subfields and write their elements in this field. You will learn a lot by doing this. Now we moves to our next topic. So here Our topic is to talk about the root of square root, cube root, fourth root, fifth root, and sixth root of elements in the finite fields. So here is a definition. Let FQ be a finite field. We denote FQ whole square. It consists of the square of all the elements of FQ, and FQ star whole square is consist of the square of all the elements of FQ star. For example, if we take the field F4, we take the square of its element. 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, theta square is 1 plus theta, 1 plus theta square is theta. So after taking square, we write all the answers in a set, and this set is F4 square. Similarly, F4 star square, we take the square of all the non-zero elements of F4. 1 square is 1, theta square is theta, theta square is 1 plus theta, and 1 plus theta square is theta. So here another example, if we take the field with 5 elements, so we take square of all the elements and the answers will be enclosed in this set. 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is again 4. Yes, and 4 square is again 1. So we get three distinct answer for the square of all the elements, and we write here. Similarly, F5 star square, we exclude 0 and we take 1 square 1, 2 square 4, 3 square is again 1, 4 square is 4. And you see, if we separate 0, then in F5 star, half the elements are squared elements. So this is in fact the set of all square elements of finite fields. This set consists of those elements which are equal to square of some elements. And this set consists of those elements which are equal to square of some element, that are squared elements. And in F5 star and if 4 star, all the elements are squared. But in F5 star, not all the elements are square. For example, 2 and 3 are not in this set, means 2 and 3 cannot be written in the form of a square of some element. But 1 and 4 can be written as a square of some elements. Here we see another example. Consider the field F9. We can write F9 in many ways. One way is to use irreducible polynomial, and one way is to use primitive element. Let alpha be its primitive element. Then we have F9 can be written in this way: 0 and then a cyclic part of order 7, of order 8. Then if we take the square of elements, 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, alpha square is alpha, alpha square is 4, alpha cube square is 6. And when we take alpha 4 whole square, we again get 1. Alpha 5 whole square, we get alpha 5 whole square is again alpha square, and alpha cube, alpha 6 whole square is alpha 4. But when we get these different answer, and if we exclude 0, we get these 4 elements. And notice that in the non-zero part, we have total 8 elements, non-zero part, and 4 half elements are the squared elements. This is a nice property. You see, in the field F9, if we exclude 0, the remaining group is a group of order 8, and half the elements are squared elements, which are equal to square of some element, and half elements are not square. The same you observed in the case of F5, but in the field of even characteristic, field of even order, you notice that this is not happened. All the elements are squared, but in the odd order field, you see half elements are squared and half are non-squared. For example, if we take F8, then all the elements are squared. All these elements will be squared elements in this case. But if we take field of order some odd prime, or if we take field of characteristic 2, all the elements are squared elements. But if we take the field of characteristic odd prime, then this is not true. Then for example, here we have total 6 non-zero element, and half elements are square of some elements and half are non-square. So this is a nice observation that we observe. we define the square of this set, and we observe that not all the elements are square always. In some cases, all the elements can be written in the form of square, for example, in F4, in F8, but in some cases, half elements are square and half are non-square. So, in fact, this set consists of all the elements which are square elements, which are equal to square of some elements. And in some fields, we observe that this set is equals to the whole field, and in some cases, this is equals to half of the elements. So, that's now, after observing this, we define the square root of and rth root of elements in the finite fields. What is mean by rth root? So let x be any element of the finite field and r is any positive integer, then an element y in fq is called rth root of this element if y power r equal to x. In other words, the solution of this equation for y is called rth root of x. And if r is 2, it will be square root. If r is 3, it will be cube root. If r is 4, it will be fourth root. And we denote by this symbol for simplicity. This symbol will denote the rth root of all the elements of all the rth roots of the element x. So what is mean by rth root? Rth root of the given element x is are those elements which satisfy this relation. मीन्स ऐसे एलिमेंट्स जिनकी पावर आर लेने से एक्स आ जाए उनको हम कहेंगे कि वो एक्स के आर्थ रूट्स हैं. आर अगर 2 होगा तो वो स्क्वायर रूट होंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी टेक fix any element x in a finite field, then those elements whose square is x will be called square root of x. Those elements whose square is the given element x will be called square root of x, denoted by this symbol. So in order to understand the definition, see this example, we consider this field with 5 elements, then 0 square root is 0 because there is only one element whose square is 0, and that is 0. So now we find square root of 1. Square root of 1 means those elements whose square is 1. And if we take the square of elements, we see that 1 square is 1 and 4 square is also 1, because 4 square is 16 and in mod 5, 16 is 1. So we have two elements whose square is 1. So square root of 1 will be two values for the square root of 1. There are two values for the square root of 1. Similarly, for the square root of 4, we have to find those elements whose square is 4. One such element is 2 and other such element is 3. 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9, and 9 in mod 5 is 4. You can you observe that here 4 is also equals to -1 and 3 is also equals to -2. So here 1 and -1, these are 2 and -2. Similarly, but here if we want to find the square root of 2, no element has square equal to 2. So this square root of 2 and 3 does not exist. So you see these two elements have square root and these two elements have no square root because they are not squared. No element whose square is sorry 1 and 4 are squared elements, 1 and -1 are squared elements, and 2 and 3 have no square root in the field F5. Similarly, see in this example, consider the field F9. If we write the elements with the help of primitive elements, F9 will consist of 0 and the remaining is a cyclic group of order 8. Alpha has order 8. Then square root of 0 is 0. Square root of 1 is 1 and alpha power 4, because 1 square is also 1 and alpha power 4 square is alpha power 8, that is also 1. So there are two square roots for 1. Similarly, there are two square roots for alpha square, because alpha power 2 is also alpha square and alpha power 5 whole square is alpha power 10, and by using this relation we get it is equals to alpha square. And you can observe that separating 0, and here we have total 8 elements, and half elements have square root and half elements have no square root. This is linked with the previous definition of squared elements. because in the odd case, this is just an observation. We just make calculation by hand and we observe that half of the elements have square roots and each element has two values for square root except 0. If we talk about non-zero elements, half of the elements means four elements, 1 alpha square, alpha 4, alpha 6. These have square root and not a unique square root, but these have square root, two values for square root. And the half elements, these alpha, alpha cube, alpha 5 and alpha 7, have no square root in the field. So this is just an observation that in a field of odd order field, half of the elements, half non-zero elements have square root and each element have two square roots, and half of the elements have no square root. But if we take the field of even order, then for instance this, then each element will have a unique square root. Each element will have a unique square root. There is no element whose square root does not exist. All the elements have square roots. So this is just an observation from the example. Because there is only one element whose square is 1. There is only one element alpha power 4 whose square is alpha. You can check by taking power, by taking square of all the powers. You can check this. So this is an observation that in the odd order field, half of the elements have square root but not a unique square root. Each element have two square roots and half of the elements does not have square root. And in the even order field, all the elements have unique square root. So if we relate this square root with this definition of squared elements, if you observe this deeply, you will notice that only those elements have square root which belongs to this set, which are square of some elements. It's obvious. So we make this remark that if we take any element of FQ, then its square root exists in FQ if and only if that element is belongs to this squared set. This is a set of all squared elements. This is a set of all elements who can be written as square of some elements. So only those elements have square root which belongs to this set. This is a set of all the squared elements. Similarly, for non-zero elements, only those non-zero elements have square root in this group if and only if that element belongs to squared of this set. You can see here in the start where we define this. For example, all elements here. Here you see all the elements are squared elements. So all have square root. Here half elements have squared values. If 5 star has 1 and 4, so only these two elements have square root. No other have square root. So this is, we make this remark. And now these are just the observation from the example, and now we will prove these facts in general. First fact is that for the field of characteristic 2, for the field of even order, if we take any field of this type f2 power n, which has even order, which is a characteristic 2, then it in this field each element has a unique square root of f2 power n. We will prove this. We have observed this in example, but we need to prove this in general. So in order to prove this, we use the following technique. We define a mapping from f2 power n to f2 power n from this field to itself by this rule that sigma 2x equals to x square for all x belongs to this. Why I denote this by sigma 2, you will see in the next slides. Sigma 2 is just a notation. Sigma 2 is a map which maps every element of the field to its square. This function sigma 2 maps every element of this field to its square. And here we show that this function is bijective. So if we have this bijection, it means all the elements of this field are square of the element of this field. They are same. So this will prove our technique, because If this function is bijective, so there is a bijection, it means all the elements of this field are square of some element of this field, and due to bijection it will be unique square root. So first we prove that this function is injective. Suppose two elements have the same image. This implies by definition x1 square equals to x2 square. This implies x1 square minus x2 square is 0. But because we have characteristic 2, if we open this x1 minus x2 whole square, 2 will be 2x1 x2 will become 0, and this equals to this, so this becomes 0. But notice that we are in a field, and field has no zero divisor except 0. It means the product of two non-zero elements cannot be 0. So it means this must be a zero element, because otherwise, if this is non-zero, then x1 minus x2 dot x1 minus x2 will be 0, so it will become a zero divisor. So the field has no zero divisor because field is an integral domain, so this element will become 0, so x1 will be equals to x2. अब क्योंकि ये दोनों सेट फाइनाइट हैं, if we have finite sets and there is an injective function between them, then it will be automatically bijective. In case of finite sets, if we have injective function between two sets and their cardinality is same, we have two finite sets of same cardinality and we have injective function, then that function will be automatically bijective due to cardinality. This property does not hold for infinite sets. So this is the bijective function. This proves that for each element, if we take any element here, there exists a unique element b here whose square is such that a equals to b square, because this function maps every element to its square. If we take b here, b will become b square. So this means each element has a unique square root in this field. And one thing is important, that each element has a unique square root if and only if this set of all square of all the elements equal to f2 power n. If we take a set which consists of all the squared elements, if this set equals to f2 power n, it is only happened when this map is bijective, and if this map is bijective, it means they have unique square root. So in the if this map is bijective, this which map? The map which associate every element to its square. So this function is bijective. It shows that each element have a unique square root, and if this is a remarkable that in this case, if this map is bijective, this set of all squared elements will be equals to the whole set. So in this way we prove this, and now in the next part we will talk about the square root of elements, but not for the field of characteristic 2, but for the field of characteristic some odd prime. अब हम किसी odd prime वाले field के लिए बात करेंगे. This is our next theorem. Let P be an odd prime and n is any positive integer, then Fpn star whole square is a subgroup of index 2 in Fpn star. Notice that F2n whole square equals to F2 mean F2n is only when this map is bijective and there is unique square root. But now we are working in characteristic odd characteristic. Let P be an odd prime. Here P is a prime different from 2. Then this set is not equals to the whole group. We will prove that this set, which is you observe this in examples. For example, here you observe this. If we take F7, this squared element set is a subgroup of this group of index 2. It has two cosets. So this is the statement that if P is an odd prime, and then you take the group of non-zero elements of Fpn, that is Fpn star, and you take all the squared elements, then that set will be a subgroup of Fpn star, but a subgroup of index 2. Index 2 means it has two cosets. Subgroup of index 2 means this subgroup have two cosets. all the group can be written as union of two cosets, disjoint union of two cosets. Index means number of cosets of the group, and one coset is the subgroup itself, and the other cosets will be the complement of that subgroup. So in this theorem we will prove that the squared elements, you आपको ये बात याद रखनी चाहिए कि इस सेट में वही एलिमेंट आते हैं जिनका स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करता है, बाकियों का बाकी सेट में नहीं आते. तो दिस स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट्स set is become the subgroup of this, and of index 2 means it has two cosets. अब हम इसको प्रूफ करते हैं. We know that Fn star is cyclic. क्योंकि ये cyclic है, so we can write Fn star equals to generated by some alpha where alpha is primitive elements. Now if we take the square of all the elements, then that set will be generated by alpha square. You can check it, it's very easy. If some group is generated by alpha, then if we take square of all the elements, then that set will be generated by alpha square. You can prove this easily, and it becomes if something is generated by some element of group, you know, if we take any group and we take all the powers of some element, it becomes the subgroup. So this is a subgroup of Fn star. And so what is the order of this subgroup? Its order is equals to order of its generator, and order of generator is alpha square, and the generator is alpha square, so order of alpha square is order of alpha divided by GCD of 2, and this, but this number is even because p is odd, p power n is also odd. अगर कोई नंबर ऑड हो तो उसकी हर पावर भी ऑड होती है. p is odd, so this number is even, so here GCD is 2, one number is even, and so this group has order half of the order of the group. इस ग्रुप में कितने एलिमेंट्स हैं? ग्रुप के एलिमेंट्स के मुकाबले में इसमें हाफ एलिमेंट्स हैं इस सब ग्रुप में. ग्रुप के एलिमेंट्स की तादाद है, पी एन स्टार की कार्डिनलिटी है पी एन माइनस वन, और इसकी कार्डिनलिटी है पी एन माइनस वन ओवर टू. सो इसका इंडेक्स क्या आ जाएगा? लेग्रांज थ्योरम में ग्रुप के ऑर्डर को सब ग्रुप के ऑर्डर से डिवाइड करें, आपको इंडेक्स मिल जाएगा. सो we get index 2. So it proves that if we take the square of all the element of Fpn star, we get a subgroup of index 2. So the proof is clear, I think, and from this we can conclude that we know that in any group the cosets make a partition of the group. Every group can be written as disjoint union of cosets. Now one coset is the subgroup itself, and the other coset, you can take any element outside of this subgroup. When you are working in the group theory and take any subgroup, one subgroup is this, one coset is the subgroup itself, and the other coset is generated by the elements which is not in this subgroup. So take any element outside of this, so you multiply this, so we get this cosets, and we have these two cosets only of this group, and their union is the whole group, and this is disjoint. ये हमें ये बताता है कि इस ग्रुप को दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड किया जा सकता है. एक हिस्से में सारे स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट आ जाएंगे और एक में बाकी आ जाएंगे. ये वो होंगे जो इसके कंप्लीमेंट होंगे. इसका मतलब है कि इसमें जो एलिमेंट होंगे इस पार्ट में वो किसी का स्क्वायर नहीं होंगे. तो इस थ्योरम में ये बताया गया कि एफ पी एन स्टार वो कौन से एलिमेंट है जो स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट है. स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट सेपरेट हो जाएंगे और ये बाकी नॉन स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट सेपरेट हो जाएंगे. ग्रुप को आप दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड कर लेंगे, दो कोसेट्स में. एक कोसेट में या एक सब ग्रुप में वो एलिमेंट है जो स्क्वायर्ड है, एक में वो है जो नहीं है. और अब you can observe this here what we have done in the previous results. पहला जो थ्योरम था वो था इवन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक के लिए. इन दैट केस अल्फा स्क्वायर we have this bijection. It means each element 0 has unique square root, 1 has unique square root, 1 plus theta has this, theta has this, and so on. But in case of odd order field, 0 square 0 को हम exclude करेंगे. You see 1 and 6 map onto 1, 2 and 5 onto 4, 3 and 6. So only these 1, 4 and 2 are the squared elements. The remaining are not squared elements, and these elements have two square roots. from this is just an example to compare the difference between field of characteristic 2 and field of characteristic different from 2. In field of characteristic 2, this happened that this squared map is bijective. That means the squared set is equals to group, but here in this case, if you take square of the elements, you get three different answers. So squared set is a subgroup of index 2. The remaining elements are non-squares. And this theorem is also connected with this previous theorem, that in this previous theorem we proved that if P is an odd prime, then fpn star square is a subgroup of index 2, means ये प्रॉपर सबग्रुप होगा और इसके दो कोसेट बनेंगे, एक कोसेट ये खुद ही होगा और एक इसके कोई अलावा होगा, और कोसेट्स जो होते हैं वो ग्रुप की हमेशा पार्टीशन करते हैं। तो अब इसी चीज से हम ये बात करते हैं कि with the same notation as in the previous theorem, previous slide, here P is an odd prime, every element has two square roots in this, and no element has a square root in this. I again go to the previous corollary. We can partition the group into two case sets, squared and non-square. इसमें वो इस हिस्से में वो एलिमेंट्स हैं जिनका स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करेगा और एक स्क्वायर रूट नहीं होगा, दो होंगे, और इसमें वो है जिनका स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट नहीं करेगा। इसी बात को हमने नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे डिस्क्राइब किया। एवरी एलिमेंट इन दिस सेट हैज टू स्क्वायर रूट्स इन दिस and no elements in this part has a square root in this. The notations are the same as in the previous slide. Here in this theorem, the notations are taken from the previous slide. So first we prove that this portion and these elements of this set have two square roots. So now if x, we know that if x belongs to this set, then clearly x is equal to square of some element. Clearly x has some square root, say that square root is y. We know that if some element is a square of some element, if you see the definition of this set, it consists of square of all the elements. If something in this set, it must be square of some element, and suppose that element is y. So here, if x belongs to this set, then it means x has some square root. Let's say that square root is y. मीन्स कोई ना कोई एलिमेंट ऐसा होगा जिसका स्क्वायर लेने से x आता होगा, वो फर्ज करें y है। नाउ अब क्योंकि माइनस वाई भी फील्ड में होगा, क्योंकि ये फील्ड है, अगर एलिमेंट है तो उसका एडिटिव इनवर्स भी होगा, and minus y square equals to y square and y square is x, so minus y square will also become a square root of x, और y माइनस y से डिफरेंट होगा क्योंकि करेक्टरिस्टिक जो है वो 2 नहीं है। अगर अगर y माइनस y के इक्वल हो जाए तो फिर करेक्टरिस्टिक 2 हो जाती है, क्योंकि 2y फिर 0 हो जाता है। यहाँ पे करेक्टरिस्टिक 2 नहीं है। और यहाँ से हमें ये पता चला कि जो स्क्वायर रूट है वो एक नहीं है, एक से ज्यादा है। ये मैसेज मिला। we prove in the first 2-3 lines that if x has some square root y, then it minus y is also a square root of x. So from this we conclude that any element has more than one square root. And now we will guarantee that the square roots, the number of square roots will be exactly 2. There will be only 2 values for square root, not more than 2. अब अगले पार्ट में हम प्रूव करेंगे कि स्क्वायर रूट की जो है वो 2 वैल्यूज आएंगी, 2 से ज्यादा नहीं आएंगी। पहले 2 लाइनों में ये प्रूव किया कि स्क्वायर रूट की वैल्यूज 1 से ज्यादा आएगी। अब आखिरी 3 लाइनों में इसमें हम प्रूव करेंगे कि वो 2 से ज्यादा नहीं होंगी। तो इससे ये प्रूफ हो जाएगा कि हर एलिमेंट के 2 स्क्वायर रूट है। हम फर्ज कर लेते हैं किसी एलिमेंट x के 2 स्क्वायर रूट है, x नॉट और y नॉट, ठीक है। और हम प्रूफ करेंगे कि फिर वो y नॉट की कितनी वैल्यूज होंगी, ठीक है। फर्ज करें 2 स्क्वायर रूट है, x नॉट एंड y नॉट, और हम देखेंगे उनमें क्या रिलेशन है इसके। जो दिस इम्प्लाइज, इसको एक तरफ ले जाए, x नॉट -1 y नॉट होल स्क्वायर इज 1, इट मीन्स कि इस एलिमेंट का ऑर्डर या 1 होगा या 2 होगा। ये जो ब्रैकेट के अंदर एलिमेंट है इट्स हैज ऑर्डर 1। अगर इसका ऑर्डर 1 होगा तो ये आइडेंटिटी होगा, तो फिर ये 1 के इक्वल आ जाएगा। अगर इसका ऑर्डर 2 होगा तो ये -1 होगा, बिकॉज इन a cyclic group we have only one element of order 2. In a cyclic group of even order we have only one element of order 2, that is -1. इस तरह भी देख सकते हैं, और भी आप इस तरह भी देख सकते हैं कि ग्रुप में वो कौन से एलिमेंट हैं जिनका स्क्वायर 1 या -1 आता है, वो ये दो एलिमेंट है। और ऑर्डर के तरीके से भी देख सकते हैं। So from this we conclude that y naught equals to plus minus x naught. Whenever you take any two square root, one element is equals to this element and other values is minus x. So if y naught is different from x naught, then y naught will be minus x naught. From this we prove that each element has two square roots. And second part is obvious because if because this part is a complement of this part from the previous, because this is a disjoint union, this is a disjoint union, so these are squared elements, this is not a squared element, so these elements have no square root. So this is clear that if he is an odd prime, then we can split the group into two parts. One is a squared part and one is non-squared part. In the squared part, each element have two square root, and in the non-squared part, each element have no square root. You can observe here in the odd case, each one has two square root, 1 and 6. 4 has two square roots, 2 have two square roots, and this remaining have no square root. And here we have a unique square root. And now we generalize this. Here we talked about only the square roots. What about the other primes? बाकी primes के बारे में क्या ख्याल है? Cube root, fifth roots, seventh roots. तो हमने इस थ्योरम को, जैसे ये थ्योरम था कि अगर फील्ड है f2 पावर n वाला, तो इसमें स्क्वायर रूट यूनिक होगा, लेकिन अगर हम ले लेंगे फील्ड 3 पावर n वाला, तो उसमें क्यूब रूट यूनिक होगा। अगर 5 पावर n वाला फील्ड लेंगे, उसमें फिफ्थ रूट यूनिक होगा। तो हमने ये एक जनरल रिजल्ट प्रूव किया। लेट p भी, यहाँ पे p कोई भी प्राइम है, एनी प्राइम, and n be any positive integer, then each element of fpn has a unique pth root in this. pth root ऐसे एलिमेंट को कहते हैं कि जिसकी पावर p लेने से वो एलिमेंट आए। An element x has a pth root y if y power p equals to x. तो यहाँ पे हर प्राइम की बात की। अगर अगर यहाँ पे p यहाँ पे 2 होगा तो यहाँ पे स्क्वायर रूट आ जाएगा, 3 होगा तो क्यूब रूट आ जाएगा, 5 होगा तो फिफ्थ रूट आ जाएगा। तो ये सेम प्राइम के लिए हम बात कर रहे हैं, और इसका प्रूफ बिल्कुल उसी तरह है जिस तरह हमने स्क्वायर रूट वाला शुरू में किया था। कंसीडर दिस मैप बिटवीन दिस फील्ड्स, वी डिनोट दिस बाय सिग्मा p। इसको सिग्मा p से इसलिए डिनोट किया कि ये हर एलिमेंट को उसकी पावर p पे डिनोट करेगी, व्हिच मैप्स ईच एलिमेंट टू इट्स पावर p। इसको फ्रोबिनियस मैप भी कहते हैं। और शुरू में सिग्मा 2 इसलिए लगाया था क्योंकि उसमें 2 पे मैप कर रहा था, फॉर ऑल x बिलोंग्स टू दिस। तो इस मैपिंग को पहले इंजेक्टिव प्रूफ किया है। उसी तरह यहाँ पे क्योंकि करेक्टरिस्टिक 2 है, जब आप इसको ओपन करेंगे तो बाकी सारे कोफिशिएंट 0 हो जाएंगे, सिर्फ ये शुरू वाले दो कोफिशिएंट बचेंगे। तो दिस इक्वल टू दिस बिकम 0, और सिमिलर रीजन से ये मैप बाइजेक्टिव हो जाएगी। इसका मतलब है इसमें यहाँ पे कोई भी एलिमेंट लें, उसके कोरिस्पॉन्डिंग कोई एलिमेंट इधर जरूर होगा जिसकी पावर p लेने से ये आएगा, और बाइजेक्टिव की वजह से वो एलिमेंट यूनिक होगा। So this proves this theorem, and that each element in FPN has a unique pth root. So this is the all about we have discussed. These are the references. और एंड पे मैं आपको दोबारा से बताता चलूँ समरी कि इस लेक्चर में हमने क्या प्रूफ किया। हमने दो चीज़ों की बात की है। पहले तो एक छोटा सा चीज़ था जो पिछले लेक्चर से कनेक्टेड थी कि अगर हमें कोई फील्ड दे दिया जाए और पूछा जाए इसके सब फील्ड कौन कौन से हैं, हम बता सकते हैं, हमें पता है, लेकिन उनके अगर एलिमेंट लिखने हो वो थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है। अगर आपसे एलिमेंट भी पूछ लिए जाए तो आप ये ट्रिक यूज करके उनके एलिमेंट्स भी लिख सकते हैं, प्रिमिटिव एलिमेंट्स को यूज करके। उसके बाद फिर हमने ये कुछ टर्मिनोलॉजीज डिफाइन की। हमने कहा कि एफ क्यू जो है, इसका अगर फाइनाइट फील्ड का इस नोटेशन का मतलब है इसके सारे एलिमेंट्स का स्क्वायर लेते जाएं और जो आंसर आए वो इस सेट में लिख लें। इस सेट को हमने इस सिंबल से डिनोट किया। और इसी तरह नॉन जीरो एलिमेंट के लिए भी यही चीज और एग्जांपल्स लेके बताया गया कि इस सेट में एलिमेंट किस तरह के होंगे, कैसे हासिल होंगे। और एग्जांपल्स में हमने ऑब्जर्व किया कि इवन केस में तो वो सेट पूरा फील्ड आ जाता है, लेकिन ऑड केस में वो पूरा नहीं आता, उसमें हाफ एलिमेंट आते हैं, हाफ नहीं आते। फिर हमने स्क्वायर रूट की बात की इससे रिलेटेड, कि जो एलिमेंट इस स्क्वायर्ड वाले सेट में आएंगे वो वही होंगे जिनका स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करेगा, बाकियों का नहीं करेगा। एग्जाम्पल्स की मदद से इसे देखा और हमने देखा स्क्वायर रूट यूनिक नहीं होगा। स्क्वायर रूट जो है यहाँ पे, जो स्क्वायर रूट है वो यूनिक नहीं होगा। सम टाइम वो एग्जिस्ट किसी एलिमेंट के लिए हो सकता है वो एग्जिस्ट ही ना करे, और किसी के लिए यूनिक हो, किसी के लिए एक से ज्यादा हो। तो हमने जनरल देखा कि अगर फील्ड लेते हैं हम करेक्टरिस्टिक 2 वाला, तो इस फील्ड में हर एलिमेंट का स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करेगा और वो यूनिक होगा। लेकिन अगर हम ले लेते हैं प्राइम ऑड ऑर्डर वाला फील्ड, जिसमें पी 2 से डिफरेंट है, तो फिर इसमें जीरो को अगर निकाल दें तो बाकी जो स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट्स हैं वो सब ग्रुप बनाएंगे इंडेक्स 2 का। और इस तरह इस ग्रुप के दो पोर्शन हो जाएंगे, एक में स्क्वायर्ड एलिमेंट्स आएंगे, एक में नॉन स्क्वायर्ड। तो आधे एलिमेंट्स का स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करेगा और आधे एलिमेंट्स का नहीं करेगा, और जो आधे एलिमेंट्स का स्क्वायर रूट एग्जिस्ट करेगा वो एक नहीं होगा, एक से ज्यादा स्क्वायर रूट होंगे। तो ये सारी चीजें हमने इसमें डिस्कस की, और फिर इसको एंड पे जनरलाइज किया कि किसी भी प्राइम के लिए एफ पी एन में जो पीथ रूट होगा वो यूनिक होगा। यानी अगर आप एफ पी पावर एन लिखा हो और रूट भी पीथ वाला ही हो, यानी जो प्राइम इधर है वही इधर है, तो फिर वो यूनिक होगा। अदरवाइज इसको बाकियों के लिए भी बुक्स में स्टडी किया गया है कि आप, ज़रूरी नहीं है सिर्फ पीथ रूट लें, आप फोर्थ रूट, सिक्स रूट, एट रूट, वो सारी चीज़ें भी स्टडी की जा सकती हैं, लेकिन वो फिर थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाएगा। I think for our course this is enough to consider this about the pith root. So this is what about this lecture. Thank you very much. Uh, so thank you very much for your attention, and Allah Hafiz.